As reported by Shabia Ali Alam of Daily Mirror, Sri Lanka as a nation must step up efforts to establish a social market economy so that going forward the people can move forward with the assurance of sustainable growth and development, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said. Wickremesinghe, speaking at a conference yesterday that was aimed at reforming Sri Lanka's current economic status, indicated that more must be done to bridge the inequality prevailing in the country and ensure all sections of the people across the island grow and reap the benefits of development and prosperity. Just as much as we must make money and make bigger profits, there must be more money available to the people. The housing needs must be met in the next 15 to 20 years. Poverty should no longer be existent. The rural areas of Lanka, and for that matter the urban areas. We are a small country, we can afford to go ahead, said Wickremesinghe at the Reform Now conference hosted by Colombo-based think tank Advocate Institute. UN ready to support Sri Lanka to address immediate and long-term needs, UN chief. IMF arrangements dire consequences unless the whole parliament agrees. Johan Pereira from Daily Mirror reports, while stating that there is no other way out than going for a staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund, President Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday said the whole parliament has to agree to work with the IMF and the House will have to take dire consequences if one party or member goes against it. Every member of the parliament has to agree to work with the IMF. If one party or member says we are not for it, then we have the right to question that person or party about their solution or their alternatives. If one member of a party goes against the IMF, the whole parliament has to face the consequence. You can't say you are for half and not for the other half. You have to take the whole thing, the president said, addressing the opening sessions of the Let's Reform Sri Lanka conference organized by the Advocata Sri Lanka in Colombo.
Called on Chief Prelate of the Ramanya sect, Most Venerable Makulave Vimalathera, at the headquarters of the Ramanya sect in Colombo 5 last evening.
මේ නායකත්වයේ කුසලම් විශ්වාසයක් තියනවා දැන් අටි ගොඩ නැගිලා තියෙනවා මේක තහවුරු කරන්න කොච්චරයි නාවන්කෝ මහතුව තිබුණා ධර්මයේ වාගේ පිට සාමයෙන් රැස් වෙලා ගමන්නේ සාමයේ සාකච්ඡා කළා සාමයේ ඉතිරි
Chinese embassy has sought an urgent meeting with senior Sri Lankan authorities after Colombo sought a deferment of the planned docking of a high-tech Chinese research vessel at the strategic Hambantota port, over which India raised concern, sources said. The Chinese space and satellite tracking research vessel Yuan Wang 5 was scheduled to dock at Hambantota port from August 11th to 17th, weeks after Sri Lanka witnessed a major political turmoil following massive mass protests over the country's worst economic crisis in decades. protest does not become a peaceful protest only because the protesters do not have any weapons in their hands. Bringing flowers and involving in creative activities does not mean that it is a peaceful protest. The law should be implemented against anyone who protests and violates the country's laws, such as the criminal law, common law, and other laws. If the law is not implemented against them, later various others may violate the law freely, taking it as an example. Some lawyers who know the law very well said the law of the land, which is the Constitution, should be torn off and burnt. They indirectly threaten police officers to bow down to them and do what they want, and otherwise they will face the repercussions in future. This is a punishable offense according to the existing law. Some cultivated hatred all over the country using social media.
What is the contract? The contract is to provide protection, 3 kinds of protection to the rogues in Parliament. One is to protect them from the law in which there are corruption, there are nepotism, there are violence, and worse is not going to come before the law. So to protect them from the law. The next is to protect them from the justifiable wrath and anger of the people, the public, whom they have cheated and fooled for years on end, and whom they will continue to do. So that's the second. The third protection is to protect them from an election or any kind of plebiscite that will show that they have no legitimacy. So for 2.5 or 3 years, he has to protect them and pretend that there is a justification or legitimacy in the process of Parliament. Now, as long as he does that, he is okay. Nobody likes Ranil Wickremesinghe. Don't make that mistake. I think in the case of Gotabaya, some people liked him for some time. So if Ranil Wickremesinghe does not provide that assurance, if he does not fulfill that contract, then he is finished. And the only way he can fulfill that contract is by unleashing both the legitimate and non-legitimate military structures in this country. He can only do that by brutally repressing all forms of repression, by targeting people like students, student leaders, trade unionist leaders, and the ordinary public. We stand firm to say that we will not let him accomplish his contract.
The appointment of the new president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, is totally legal, democratic, and ethical. I hope this video presentation of the latest events in Sri Lanka was useful. Stay safe, and goodbye for now.